Warframe.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck this thing's swaying like this, but
Path of Exile.
also that looks really bad.
No, you can't do that to me. What the hell? Oh man.
Why the hell?
Diablo is my childhood. Path of Exile is a lot better now. Ah.
Breath of the Wild or
Okay, default.
Breath of the
Is that gonna
Wild.
stop it? No.
I have a long story about Ocarina of Time.
Oh.
Yes.
Ocarina of Time.
roguelikes or Metroidvanias?
Roguelikes.
Roguelites.
Metroidvanias.
I love both.
I'm really trying to figure out how to stop my character from moving around a shit ton while I'm just sitting here.
Multiple playthroughs.
Multiple playthroughs?
Achievement hunting.
People who only play games for achievements are so low on my totem pole. What was this? Sorry.
Achievement hunting or multiple
It says breathing's off. All this is
Multiple
off.
playthroughs.
Alright, you're good.
Sorry.
The look at IK shouldn't be doing that. It says it's 4 p.m. So this is starting. That was a very insufferable period of the stream. I don't know if I'm gonna stream this full thing. It just depends on just how cringe it is. Hope it's not. Actually, move this down here. I think the real annoying part is that just capturing this was a pain in the ass. Motion capture. And now it's starting. None of these games look bad so far, but it's... I don't know. Xavier, welcome. I got the shit set up just in time. I've seen some of these indie games, I'm sure. It's gonna be cool to see all these. Hopefully there's not a lot of AAA stuff. I'd much rather see more,
Welcome to the New Game Plus Game
Oh,
Showcase,
that's not-
a new initiative built by creators who love games for what they are, and not just the games that pay to have them promoted. First up,
Yo,
I'm Hunter. I'm
shots
normally
at
behind the
Chef
camera across
Keely.
gaming and esports events, and I work on social accounts for a ton of different games. My favorite games of all time would probably be RuneScape, Dark Souls 3,
Holy
Leaf
shit,
Green, Black
RuneScape.
Ops 2, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Then we have Jake Lucky, kind of the point where gaming, esports, and streamers collide. If you look at him for too long, you'll start to wonder why his neck is so long, and if you look at his Twitter for too long, you'll wonder how much Nadeshot paid him to tweet clips of him every single day. His favorite games of all time are RuneScape, Age of Empires 2, Halo Infinite, Jumpstart Adventures with
I hope you
Bondly,
can hear
and
me because,
CSGO.
like-
Next up, Luality. A streamer with a hatred of spoons and a love for dragon sex, Lua probably has more personality than the rest of us in her pinky. Her favorite games include Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, XCOM 2, Witcher 3, and Mass Effect. Then, Luke Stevens, the mind of a critic with the heart of a fan. Luke breaks down games to their DNA and really looks at everything a game has to offer. Where our brains might be smooth, his is nice and wrinkled. His favorite games of all time are Elden Ring, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Last of Us, Witcher 3, and Batman Arkham City. The fifth and final in-person member this year is I Am Rob. Rob came from the hell of making Call of Duty videos to the other hell of platinuming games. His favorite games of all time are Witcher 3, Halo 3, Batman Arkham City, X-Men Legends, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Not to be confused with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Then our final member is Blue Thunder, the man who is always spotlighting the next hidden gem before anyone else sees it coming. He just had a beautiful second child that luckily takes after his wife, so he's not here in person but was a major part of the showcase. His favorite games of all time are Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2, Elden Ring, The Last of Us, and Metal Gear Solid 2.
I just want to see
Together
the
we're
games,
pressing
bro.
how we think game
I
showcases
just want to
should
see the
feel.
games.
Conversational, authentic,
This is supposed to
and
last
transparent.
3 hours.
We are
I'm
here
not
to
lasting 3
celebrate
hours.
what
If this is
actually
it.
excites us. Incredible worlds, creative devs, and stories behind those games that we love so much.
There's no paid placements, no marketing scripts, just pure passion and excitement for what's coming up in gaming.
You can expect a wide range of content, including new trailers, fresh gameplay, developer interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and even some updates to your favorite games.
So sit back, grab your drink of choice, and let's dive into some of the games that we think are worth your attention. This is the New Game Plus Game Showcase.
Yeah, also, who picked the name?
New Game.
It's a work in progress.
Wait, what's the name of
New
it?
Game Plus shows the
New
showcase.
plus a game plus a showcase.
Have we trademarked that yet? Because I don't.
Oh, God.
Well, we have cups.
We
That's
already
most of
got
it.
the cups.
Sick.
Can't wait to get copyright struck for
Yeah,
this.
cups are done,
We
dude.
might have to cut our losses.
So I didn't actually
There's no
check for
change.
permissions.
Cheers.
Perfect. I like it.
It's great.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out soon.
All right, guys, so first up, we have 3 awesome games. We have Blind Descent coming from Owlcat. We have Deep Dish Dungeon coming from Behold and Raw Fury, as well as an exclusive interview with the Don Walker creative director.
Dawn Talker. Actually, wow. Okay, it's gonna be a survival crafting game. It's gonna be a survival base building crafting game. Horror game. It's gonna be upgrades. Doesn't look bad though. Okay. Looks like there's some type of energy system or stamina system or something. Might be a magic system. Oh, it's a fuse box, okay. Well, that's something. Deep Dish Dungeon. That sounds interesting.
Must be here somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much same here. I just want to actually see the games. This doesn't look bad either.
A Dawnwalker is like a
I wish I could
special
skip through
kind
the
of
interviews,
being
though.
in our IP. It's neither fully a vampire nor
Oh,
a
also,
human.
I finally
It's
got a,
something in between.
chat
What
overlay,
this means
so,
is basically that
yeah.
you, as a Dawnwalker, you have underwent a transformation. You used to be human. And now, during the nighttime, you do get all the powers and the difficulties of being a vampire. So you get the blood craving and so on. But during daytime, these powers are dormant and you still have to eat. You have all the weaknesses of a human, right? But also the perks of being human. One of the things that is unique to humans in our IP is being able to use magic, so casting spells. The Dawnwalkers are not very commonplace in that IP. They are very, very rare, rarer than vampires. So you as a Dawnwalker are kind of special in this regard. I would say the short-term things that have immediate impact on the character development are you have to feed on, either animals or humans on blood suddenly, right? So you get these cravings, you get these like weird, eerie experiences that you didn't have as a human. Francis and his clique of vampires actually caught him on his low point when he was vulnerable. He has used specific traits of vampiric blood in order to cement his position in the valley. Because, as you might imagine, having a bloodsucker
Bro, it's fucking
as your
tweaking.
lord might be a tough sell. However, if the alternative
That
is
doesn't
getting
look fun
sick
to deal
and,
with.
dying in thousands, actually it doesn't sound as such a horrible thing. He tries to kind of distort the religious beliefs in order to install himself as a savior of the valley. We do explore this in the game, so you might see, like, for example, statues erected to Francis, new iconography shown in the local cathedral, for example, and in the castle and so on. There is this whole cult of personality he builds around himself. So he basically shows himself as something better than the old order, right? We do have a mechanic tied to shrines that are erected across the valley, and Francis puts a lot of attention to kind of twist them to his own image, and these do have a functionality. When you play the game, we have assigned specific functions to them. Generally speaking, one of the things we wanted to achieve in this game is to have Francis being this active antagonist. In a lot of games, the antagonists are out there to be defeated, but generally speaking, you have free reign, you do your own thing, and it doesn't really change much in how they approach you. In this game, what we wanted to do is to have Francis react to your actions as you complete
That sounds
activities
interesting.
throughout the valley, as you maybe undermine his operations and so on.
It's kind of like his seal of approval.
Exactly. So it's like, so basically, the way you can think about it
That
is
definitely
like
sounds
the
interesting,
more you
because at
do in the
least it's like a
valley,
more
especially
dynamic
if you
story.
undermine Francis, you will gain notoriety. The more notorious you are, the more edicts Francis will pass in order to thwart you. So, for example, he might send out more soldiers to patrol roads and villages, right? He might, in some extreme cases, maybe even initiate a lockdown of the city to basically hamper your ways of traversing it, right? There is a number of these edicts we have prepared, and each of them is designed to kind of twist and change the general open world gameplay. It also has benefits. There are factions in the valley that dislike Francis, so the more notoriety you gain, the better standing with them you get, like they actually like that. There is a number of plot lines that you can follow if you want. You can also cut them off, because we have added these systems where, for example, you might lose control over Cohen when he's a vampire if he was hungry. You might kill off some important NPCs, and then the plotline just cuts off, basically, or you get some alternative version. There are some ways to enter the castle in the open world. You can ignore these side plotlines. You can level up Cohen and decide to attack the castle on your own, right?
Out of curiosity, is there romance in the game?
Romance, yes, of course. We have romance options, yes. We didn't delve deep into with whom yet.
Okay.
And I'll leave that for the future to talk about. However, yes, you can expect to build relationships.
Doesn't seem like a bad game, though.
Like I said, there is one main goal, very varying ways to get.
Definitely the way you play.
Ways that you pick.
I like the idea.
What happens with Veil
of
Sakura in the
you
end.
completing missions, and depending on the missions you complete, the antagonist actively,
First one,
reacts to you.
Martian survival, co-op adventure.
Gives me Subnautica vibes, and in the best way possible. I really like it, but more with land exploration, which is really cool. I honestly can't wait to try it.
We're also going to see a lot of survival games today, so I think it all comes down to what the ultimate depth of the game is. But my first thought when I saw Martian land was No Man's Sky. That's obviously maybe a reach for expectation-wise, and definitely a tall task. But when I heard Martian, I thought No Man's Sky-esque.
Like you said, a lot of survival games, but I think it's popular right now, and I'm hopeful that a lot of them do it right. But this is going underneath Mars and has aliens. It looks interesting. I like it.
I'm intrigued about the variety of ecosystems and aliens and plants that they bring up.
Well, like you said, it's popular right now because people like them, and so they share a lot of things mechanically, but for me, it's usually the vibe, and this one has a vibe.
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
That's why I wonder how that gameplay loop goes. Like, how far down can you go? What kind of biomes are you experiencing as you continue to go down? And like you said, with survivals, we see like a lot of the same loops. So how can they?
Are there trees you can cut?
Yeah, like again, we're gonna talk about it a lot, but if you can cut a tree down, I'm good for survival games. I'm like
at that point.
I'm the target. I'm the target audience.
Then we have deep dish dungeon, co-op dungeon crawling, a survival game, a handcrafted dungeon. You gather resources.
No wonder this takes
strengthen
3
your
hours.
Party. You can party up with friends. I'm excited for it.
Speaking of vibes, this thing is a vibe. Like, I don't know what you'd call that art style, but whatever it is, like injected into my veins.
Retro, right?
It's like pixel art, but then they also have like some voxel type tech for digging and breaking things. I don't know, whatever it is, I like
What's
it.
voxel type tech?
Okay, so when Luke said voxel, that's big word count number 1 of the day. When I see that, I'm very basic. I'm like, that's got to be some form of pixel art, which is definitely coming back. I feel like we're seeing more games kind of pull back that old like Minecraft pixel art, whatever you want to call it, voxel view.
Not the Minecraft,
I
bro.
will be honest with you guys. While you guys are talking about pixels, I'm thinking I hope I can kill my teammates in funny ways. So sure, we'll go with the pixels.
Yeah, we were watching the trailer together, and the first thing she was saying was like, "Hey, how do I kill those I'm with?"
I mean, I have to imagine it's a dungeon crawling game about cooking in the dungeon. Surely you're gonna be able to accidentally poison yourselves.
Do you think you can get like bad ingredients on purpose to murder your?
I bet you are gonna have to.
What's wrong with
You're
her?
gonna have to
Why
find
are
out.
you going there?
So I wonder though, with it being like in dungeons, like if they're gonna have an in-game proximity chat kind of thing.
I hope
It's one of my favorite things in games like this when you're like walking through and you can hear your friend off in the distance. I wonder if they'll do something like that.
The Lethal Company
effects
where they're like
looks
far
like
away.
you can hear them screaming.
Like screaming
with friends though, for sure.
Yeah, like at least
Me and Jake gonna be in their edition in that dungeon.
like at least a co-op. He's across the world. I'm like, Rob, you there?
I'm dishing, baby. I'm dishing.
I'm dishing.
Making
Can you bring the carrot?
What are you making?
Lasagna.
Yeah, no, but it looks very promising though.
Next up, we have Dawn Walker. Lua had a crazy conversation with her creative director. Single player, vampire, RPG. It looks incredible. I think the 30-day system is awesome and, like you said, gives weight to things. And then the whole, like, there's so many decisions you can make.
What I find really interesting about the game is that Cohen, the protagonist, is half vampire, half man. And even though, like, all of that sounds great by itself, there's even another layer where at night, of course, he can use vampiric abilities that he doesn't get to use during the daytime. His combat's different. He's not using a sword, he's using claws. And then in the daytime, of course, there's NPCs walking around and there's, you know, maybe patrols going around that aren't there at night, but then there's different ones at night. So
And you can use magic as human. You can use magic as a vampire.
Yes, and basically what they're trying to do is to not just have the time be an element of certain actions to take it forward, but also whether you're playing in day or night, quest lines play out completely differently because people are in different spots, their behaviors are different. This person may be asleep, so you can't talk to them.
Have different
but somebody else is
abilities.
there. Exactly.
Well, The Witcher 3 is my personal favorite game of all time. So, and this is former Witcher 3 developers working on this, and so much of that charm was prevalent there.
The music.
The music, just that soundtrack in the short little snippet we saw there, I felt it.
I love that simple separation between day and night and different things coming with your character.
That's got to be like the coolest part of it.
Yeah, because it's got to probably tailor to your gameplay of like, I got to wait to make this choice during the nighttime versus during the daytime where I can use certain abilities or different combat styles. I love that part of it.
And so I could foresee a run through, like a play style where you're playing only at night for missions. You're just doing stealthy vampire stuff, and you're eating people or you're drinking blood rather, not eating people. I don't know, maybe it's kind of way. But
whatever
you know,
you want.
the dark run through versus like the light run through in the daytime. The vegan run through. The vegan run through. Which has one of those vegan
sped run. Don Walker.
Yeah, vegan achievement.
Sponsored by Beyond Meat. The fact that they revealed a little bit about more Brinsis the Overlord is also a system. He really talked a lot about systems that they have not spoke on yet at all and didn't with us either.
Like the edicts. As you go around the world trying to find your information, you can side with different people, and depending on what you do, you can
Alright. You're right. A lot of yapping.
So he can start making laws.
I'm gonna be right
and
back. I have to go check
rules
something.
to stop you from progressing in a certain way.
I also like that Brensis as an antagonist is not just like pure evil, doing all sorts of horrible stuff. Like he is helping the people in some ways in order to, you know, get control of them, but he's like curing them of the plague. Like he offers them something they aren't getting elsewhere. So he's doing bad stuff, but there's nuance.
And that typically makes for really, really good stories.
Harder choices
perspective, and never a clear-cut good or bad.
Yeah, because I bet you there's gonna be a moment where it's like you could stop it, like his influence in an area, that means they're gonna die of the plague. So it's like, do you let the bad guy do the thing that you're trying to stop him to do, or?
And it's also about perspective. These people were ruled by a very tyrannical leader before, so even though Brents is a vampire to them, he may as well be a savior, right?
For the next section, we have 3, again, I'm gonna have to not say incredible games every single time, but we have Prologue, Go Way Back from PlayerUnknown, Beautiful Light from Deep Worlds, and Project Shadowglass from Starhelm Studios.
It's just an infinite map generator with some game loops on top of it. So you have a survival loop, which is pretty hard. Get to the weather tower, we give you a map and a compass and not much else. Some basic survival mechanics, and it's a game against yourself more than anything else and kind of the decisions you make. Then we also have just objective survive, which is just see how long you can last in the world, and free roam for those that just like a hike. The differentiator, or the thing that makes a difference, is that we can generate essentially infinite maps of 8x8 scale. Like we have a map editor in
and I missed it.
Like that,
I missed the actual new game. Holy shit.
To give a deep link to someone, so I can just send you like a HTTP link that starts up the game, loads a map and a seed, and I can share stuff I've built with you with just a link, right? So it's kind of Go Way Back is just it's a technological experiment that, or proving some technology we've developed. It's no longer an experiment; it's in production, so it works.
What is this?
It's also going back to my love of survival games and those kind of emergent. Just I'm not giving
every single time, but we have Prologue Studios.
Okay, what is this? I will be. Okay, I don't need the BRB screen right now.
It's just an
Prologue,
map generator with some game loops on top of it. So you have a survival loop, which is pretty hard. Get to the weather tower, we give you a map and a compass and not much else. Some basic survival mechanics, and it's a game against yourself more than anything else and kind of the decisions you make. Then we also have just objective survive, which is just see how long you can last in the world, and free roam for those that just like a hike. The differentiator, or the thing that makes a difference, is that we can generate essentially infinite maps of 8x8 scale. Like we have a map editor in the game and stuff like that, but we want to be able to give you the ability to give a deep link to someone, so I can just send you like a HTTP link that starts up the game, loads a map and a seed, and I can share stuff I've built with you with just a link, right? So it's kind of Go Way Back is just it's a technological experiment that, or proving some technology we've developed. It's no longer an experiment; it's in production, so it works. But it's also going back to my love of survival games and those kind of emergent. Just I'm not giving anyone missions to do. It's just get there, and how you get there is fully up to you. Basically, if you play the same seed, you get the same weather. I'm pretty sure you get the same cabin layout, and you maybe get the same loot. So you and 4 friends could technically race to the weather tower and see who gets there first, because you have the same conditions. And while we don't have multiplayer yet, you have this kind of asynchronous multiplayer that, as long as you can share the seed with people. And I thought, wouldn't that be a cool thing for events where you have 16 streamers and see how long they can survive in objective survive mode, right? Or see who can race to the weather tower quickest, or we can set up the weather just to get progressively colder and see who lasts the longest. There's a weather tower on top of one of the higher points on the map. It's generally the other side of the map. We do have prompts now that tell you what to do in the world, but yeah, there's some simple survival mechanics. Keep yourself warm, keep yourself dry, light fires, board up windows, keep your body in a good temperature, get across the map. And we don't tell you where you are on the map, except when you find a new map in the world and it updates your position, you're left for basic navigation. It's kind of set in the 80s, so you don't have digital GPS, stuff like that. I want to make sure that the worlds we're generating have enough depth that when we add story and mission and quest-based content, that the worlds feel like coherent and real enough that it makes sense. Like I want to have pathing, I want to have like infrastructure, like telephone lines, this kind of stuff, so the cabins aren't just random cabins in the forest, that there seems to be some like, you know, logical placement of stuff in the world. And once we have those in, then we can more easily go, well, okay, you need to connect all the substations to bring power to the weather tower so you can get a message or go and do various things. Right now there's a bunch of cabins and there's survival mechanics, but we want to add a lot more depth to the environment. Preface is a tech demo. That I always said I wanted to release a free tech demo of the engine we're building, and that's what Preface is. And the kind of poetic thing is that my last game will be Preface, because it'll just be a visualization of what's possible with our engine at that time. And it's more like Minecraft Survival, that it's an example of what you can do with the engine, and it'll be open source and free for everyone, so you can do whatever you want. So having this kind of digital space, like an internet in 3D, I don't see anyone working towards that. I see small bubbles, but I don't see anyone really trying to do Earth-scale terrain with millions of people. And that's kind of the bigger goal, and that's why we've broken it down into 3 games. The aim is that you should be able to do anything from 10 by 10 to 100 by 100 with 5v5 or 100v100 relatively easily and not have any problems. We will build maybe an Earth-scale terrain, maybe smaller, with hopefully a network layer that supports millions of people. That will be kind of a survival civilization MMO type game. But again, that's just one layer of the world. Like, I want you to be able to just jump around the world and see what's happening, because you should be able to, like, I think if you want to interact with the world, there should be a layer of survival you have to do, or a layer of gameplay in order to kind of leave your impression on the world.
Quebec Charlie to Quebec Romeo Foxtrot. We got your location report. We are monitoring you on the operations zone. Good luck. Over.
Is this a different game or is this the same game? Because I know that guy talked about, like... Okay. Or is this like a... I mean, that, like, is this like a different project for them? Like, is this the same developer, I guess I should say? Okay. Get to shooting, buddy. Okay. Cool. That looked pretty good too.
In a world where pixels were once only 2D.
Oh my god.
Now, they're 3D. Oh, I'm just with you. I'm Dominic John, the dev behind Project Shatterglass, a 3D pixelated RPG that's a love letter to classic immersive sims like Thief and System Shock. This video is a series of prototype rooms that I've been working on some of the core systems in. No art, no assets. Will be.
I personally really want this game to play like RuneScape
human-made,
or something.
hand-placed, made by me and artists like me.
I don't want there to be any kind of story for this. I just want you to have a world where you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Because this looks sick as fuck. This is the crunchiest looking game I've ever seen, and it looks fun. Because if you make a game that looks this crunchy, it has to have something to it.
If you have headphones, I would highly suggest wearing them. All the audio in Project Shadowglass is going to be 3D, and not just 3D, but simulated. The music emanating from this orb is going into the left ear and the right ear, but as I change the size of the space, you can hear the character of the sounds change.
Sick. Then he goes in the box and it's less audible.
And if we go around the wall, we can still hear it coming from the opening in each ear.
That's sick. Are they gonna come back down and hit you in the head? No. Damn. Ooh. That's sick too. I like games where I can like build and shit, but if you give me a world that's just like a big old fucking world that's fun.
Discord today, so if
Hell
you
yeah.
have any ideas or suggestions or just want to follow along, feel free to wishlist Project Shadowglass on Steam.
This shit just looks
I hope
good.
you enjoyed this sneak peek on how things are coming along. Thank you so much, all the crew at New Game Plus, for having me. Be well, my friends.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for this kind of game, unfortunately.
To start with, Prologue, Go Way Back, another survival game that we're seeing, and we were talking, it's a bare bones survival game where there is no common enemy. Your enemy is the elements, where you just have to try and survive and make it to that point. So if you guys don't know Brennan Green, he not only was behind the Battle Royale mode of H1Z1, which we talked a long time about, he was also the creator of PUBG. So people have a lot of faith in him and what he calls his 10-year plan, and he talks about his ultimate goal being he wants 1 million players on a server. He wants the internet to be made 3D and for all of us to actually truly be able to play together, which I know is a crazy transition from us talking about a survival game.
Single-player survival game?
Like we want to cover their survival game because I love survival games, and they're going to be branching out in this game for the next few years until they have multiplayer, until they have weapons, and they have PvE and animals to fight against. But it's also part of a much
also
bigger
story. He mentioned they will be adding also a story to the
Things
world.
to do, yeah.
Yes.
That's got to be like the most ambitious, one of the most ambitious projects out there right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy
What's
to
so
think
funny
about.
about him is that he's like, yeah, I want like millions of players to be playing together on like a gigantic map, but you know, not to undersell it.
Shoot for the stars, brother. Shoot for the stars.
No one's done that yet.
Next game we talked about was Beautiful Light by Deep Worlds SA. That's a PvPvE tactical extraction shooter. There are 6 3-person squads, and there's also a lot of anomalies and monsters and stuff that we saw in it. Looks like I'm gonna be scared.
It looks very scary.
I mean, I appreciated that it was very immersive. Like he had the sort of Pip-Boy looking thing over there.
Yeah.
And speaking of big words, I actually looked up what that's called. It's called diegetic UI.
Oh, did you say diegetic?
Diegetic.
Thinking the same.
Diegetic. Write that one down. Write that one
Thinking of that word.
But it's really, really cool in games like this, especially because it's like hyper immersive. There's no UI popping up being like, oh, attack incoming. It's just
gonna
you are in
last
the moment, you're
like
in the
another
game.
couple years or something.
Listen around you, look at the thing on the character itself. I love that.
So you can play as a monster,
Yeah.
or as
really?
You can play both.
or as the soldier. Is there
Watch
controllers?
them just not be right about this or something? That'd be crazy.
Duality, she just threw up in her mouth.
I have nothing against controllers, but I believe there's a right time for mouse and keyboard and a right time for keyboards. And he believes that the right time for a controller is when you're playing shooter games. It's obviously better. The mouse and keyboard is better for that. But not for him.
I would edit my own YouTube videos with a controller. if I
Yeah, he
could.
said that
That's
earlier on.
That's how passionate.
Which is a patently insane thing to say.
Yeah, then we have Project Shadowglass.
Voxel art. I really enjoyed the.
This is Starhelm Studios. It's an immersive sim. We've all seen it. I think it went viral from that AI post. There was like an AI post that looked just like it, and then he was like, I'm making a game like this that's not AI.
I looked up the video because he has a YouTube channel where you can actually see kind of behind the scenes. And when that clip of the AI generated art went viral, he saw it and thought like, I didn't think anybody wanted this. I was just like, it was a fun side project. And then He saw people wanted it and thought it looked awesome, and he put it out, but it's real.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You know, there's a desire for stuff like that. Yeah. More simplicity, kind of.
You know what the good thing about this is? I could just
It
tweet on
feels
Twitter
like,
while this is
the
going
game
on
is
because I don't
still,
have to pay
like,
attention half the time.
learning what it wants to be. Like
I almost want to
he's
mute this because I
working
feel
on
like it's.
the graphics, the basics, the music, and as like they have a bow and an arrow, and hopefully as they work on the project, they start feeling what it will grow to be, what kind of game it will develop itself into.
Yeah, my understanding is right now it is just Project Shadowglass, and it's going to eventually become like a video game, but right now it's just kind of proof of concept that the art works, the crazy math behind it works, and like it can grow to a game, but it's certainly very, very
Well, I wish him nothing but success.
Yeah, he seems like
because it seems like I
awesome
just
dude.
love a good passion project. You can tell there's a lot of heart in that.
And
I am.
initially, like everyone
That's the
else,
crazy
when I went
thing.
so
I
far,
actually
I got
am.
attached to that same artwork.
I'm just
but then when he
browsing
further
Twitter
explains, it
waiting
shows you
for
some concepts
this
that you
to
weren't expecting out of that, a game
stop.
with that artwork or that design. When he's showing that you said the R6 lean in there. And you,
Oh yeah, that threw me off. The little bow
Yeah, it's like,
behind. I was
whoa.
like, is that a Rainbow Six
You threw that,
Siege?
you threw that in there, and then of course they got the wall grapple, and then with the whole audio design as well. I mean, I'm definitely.
I remember seeing that clip that went viral. I remember seeing it. I was like, wow, that looks incredible. Like walking up to the castle.
This section we have 3 what I would consider kind of sci-fi games a little bit, but we have Aphelion from Don't Nod, which we have an incredible look behind the scenes of the music with the composer themselves, as well as The Expanse Osiris Reborn from Owlcat. If you're familiar with The Expanse, super exciting, and also Distant Shores, Brittany.
My name is Amin Bouafa.
Yeah,
I'm
most of the
a music
combos
composer,
just don't
and
feel like
I am
they're
the
doing
composer
anything.
For Aphelion, the video game. I remember having a message from Talal saying that he loved the score of Summit of the Gods and they are working on a new video game, and inviting me to come to the studio and to meet the team. It was very important for me to understand how the music would be interactive. So how to compose, how to write music that would be interactive, with models, with stems, with separating the different elements, and at the same time, how could the music, how the structure of the music would be an evolving structure.
Okay,
It's
look,
important for me
music in
first
games
to
is
have
important, very
the
important,
story
but
of
like,
Oriane and Thomas, like
yeah, okay.
the logline is the story, both of them. So
I
there
feel
is
like
a
you actually have to
theme
see it
that
in action
conveys
to actually
this
understand that.
emotional relationship between them, and then the frozen aspect of the music. I mean, for me, it was very important first to feel the cold in the music, to feel the wind, to feel the ice. It's an instrument that had been invented by the Bachet brothers in the mid-20th century. For me, it looks like an alien instrument. When you see it, cannot even predict that it's a musical instrument. To play the instrument, you need to get your hands in water, and then.
Oh, this sounds awful.
And then rub crystal.
This instrument just sounds fucking awful.
This metal structure could convey.
I'm guessing that the music is what they're playing right
this
now.
Frozen
It's just like,
identity of the score.
man,
At the same time,
that
having,
instrument sounds awful to play.
This
Oh yeah, if you want to
magical
play this instrument, you have to like get your
of the
hands
score.
soaking wet. And it's just like,
There is a sacred
No.
feeling also to this planet. It's a huge planet, but I wanted to get this huge instrument and that it could also play very soft. The organ has a lot of sounds. It could be very soft. It could be very aggressive.
because this looks like an interesting game.
Large. It could
It's
be
just I'm not seeing a lot of the
intimate.
game.
From
I'm
this
hearing a lot of
planet,
this guy
it
and
could
seeing
be
a lot of him. I
very
don't want to see him
welcoming
personally.
And suddenly, very.
I'm sure he's a good guy, but
how
like,
to say, very dangerous.
I don't care.
And very sacred at the same time. So I thought that the organ could give this majestuous feeling to the score. I'm so happy to
Can't wait
write
to
the
get
music for a
copyright
film.
struck
It's
for
the first
that.
time for me to write a video game score, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of passion.
It looks really good. I like the way they did the snow and ice. Yeah, unfortunately there is a lot of interviews in Showcase. It sounds like they're really padding out that 3 hours now. It sounds like it could have probably been 2 hours. Maybe I'm wrong, but... This looks like a Star Wars. Like, maybe not, but... The Expanse, okay, it's not actually Star Wars.
We had some discussions at the early stages of the production, to be honest, whether to go fully class system or something else. And again, we started with sitting down and lining up what are possible ways that the player might perceive the game. The power fantasies, how he can express himself in combat. So he might want to be a sniper, he might want to be a hacker, maybe an engineer, something else. As we designed those playstyles, we thought how to mix it up a bit, how to let player to experiment with what he encounters during the game. So, for example, when he finds a neat shoulder cannon, as we've shown in the announcement trailer, even if he's a sniper, he might want to experiment with that. Why not? It fits the universe, it fits the playstyle. He might want to see how it works. And so we decided why not to give him the possibility to do that. That was the idea behind the playstyle. So playstyle is basically the starting preset that kind of gently guides you towards the certain direction of your power fantasy of how you play the game. At some point, the player will need to commit to his choices. So again, it's an important part of the choices system, you know. If you just can switch everything on the fly, that kind of makes your choices less important. So at some point you need to stick to particular guns, particular gadgets, and you just build around them. We give you some time to experiment, but you will need to commit. During the character creation, you will have to choose between three major factions, your origin. So it will be either Belter or Earther or Martian. Facial customization, appearance, you can choose your body type.
So you will be playing as a Pinkwater mercenary with different type of origin that you would create. You will have your sibling with the same, like, identical one. They will look a little bit different because they're their own person, they have their own personality. These events are set during the first 3 books, I think. You will start on Eris and witness basically the events from a different angle, and this part will be to some degree shown in your character creation.
Every companion should belong somewhere in the universe, and they have their own background consisting of their faction and their acquaintance. They have some background story, their own struggles. All this stuff will influence how they perceive the situations player encounters. So in every major plot event, they will have their opinions. They might hint you towards some decisions. They might provide you some assistance.
I wonder if like there'll be cross-faction gameplay. Like, what if you start in one faction and then you go to another? Will that be
advice, for
possible?
Military support?
I hope
maybe.
so.
Of course, they will have their own stories, their own struggles, and you can choose to help them or maybe to ignore their own stories, totally depending on how you want to be invested in this particular companion. The choices you make for those companions also will matter in long term.
Yep, some of them will have romances, and you can see on our background companions.
Perfect,
We cannot say who is going to have romance, but there will definitely be romance in our game.
It's a small crew on the small ship. You know, the Expanse, it's a universe where everyone flies in very tight spaces for a very long time. So there is a dynamics in the crew as well. We have a few layers of the combat system. First of all, it's obviously the gunplay. gunplay, a few classes of weapons that you can use, and mostly you do it from the covers, so it's a cover-based gunplay game. And the second
I feel like we
layer of
haven't
the
had
combat
good
system
cover-based
is,
gameplay in a
that's
while,
your
for some
abilities.
reason.
That they might be more like offensive ones, maybe something like a grenade or a shoulder cannon, or maybe something more defensive like a shield or maybe a protective drone. A lot of gadgets that you can choose from depending on your play style. And as Julia mentioned, there are some play styles that are mostly focused on using your gadgets rather than using your weapons. Third layer, but still very important, that's obviously your companions. They have their impact on the combat. They have what we call combat opportunities. That's particular situations when you can order your companion to use an exploit in the arena, in the environment, to gain a certain advantage in combat. We decided against the management, the gameplay part of the survival stuff. So you won't be counting your gallons of reaction mass or how much water you need to recycle before it dries out, nothing like that. But still, the expanse universe is very dangerous. So in terms of narrative, the survival will be a part of the game. You will have a tremendous enemy. You will have a lot of very dangerous situations that you will have to get out somehow. There will be a lot of survival in terms of your player experience, just not as a particular mechanic. You will be able to fly around the solar system. Nice. You will be able to visit various planets. We mentioned it before that we have Luna, Mars, Ceres, Io, and some other cool places to visit. And some of those places will be like major social hubs where you can just walk around, meet other people, drink at the bar, shop for better equipment and stuff like that. So you will have plenty of places to go and to visit and to look at. The Expanse universe is cruel, and some characters might die because of your choices. Stay tuned for more. We will show more very soon. Have something cooking. I hope you will like it.
Welcome back, Aaron. We trust your flight was smooth. We have landed you on the outskirts of Genyak Island. Stay alert.
Hey, Aaron, it's Thomas. You know, your brother.
Oh boy.
You said you would visit me here, but you never did. Look, bygones be bygones. Just find me in the West Zone. I'll be waiting.
What the hell? Excuse me? Okay.
Sometimes I dream about what's under the ocean. A distant shore, waiting to be explored.
Okay. I feel like that's something that's only scripted, but it's still kind of cool. What do you mean, hold up? I'm glad at least there's some type of puzzle element. Because I have a few out of puzzle games. I have a feeling that this is a game where some of the stuff is kind of scripted, and then some of the other stuff is going to not be as scripted. Wait a minute, is this like only up? Are we playing only up here? Is that the idea? Is this just like only up, but you have to play it a bunch? It could. Yeah, don't touch. Okay, yeah, I was about to say. I feel like if you touch that, you're definitely gonna fucking die. Yo, look at that. I can only imagine that this was probably in without constant shielding. I feel like this is something that will definitely have a lot of fun playing it, and that alone will probably give it a lot of replayability. Even if some of the stuff looks like it's probably scripted to some degree, because a lot of this looks like you can only do it limitedly, which is fine, as long as it's like you can do a lot of it, and not all of it is like one-to-one like that. Because being able to like experiment with a game like this is a big part of the fun. Yeah, guy who can play with electricity, not so happy whenever the electricity in the sky starts to smash him in the head. Oh, that's, oh, yeah, water. Probably not a lot of fun for this guy, if I had to ask, if I had to imagine. So, it's gonna make you seek shelter, but the shelter tends to not be very nice. I see. Then you're gonna visit your bro, and you're gonna be like, hey, check this out. Then you just fucking zap the shit out of him.
Slipping boats on the faucet. Such a peaceful place to be seen.
Opened up my room scented thing. It's not a candle, it's something else.
Let's start with Aphelion.
My understanding is it's a dual protagonist game, so you'll actually be swapping back and forth as they sort of work together. And I'm sure there's parts where you're separated, parts where maybe you're together, working together.
Very emotional story.
I didn't see a single moment
There's
where
so
you're
much
supposed to be
potential for
working
stories
together in
like
that game
the
with
dual
anybody.
protagonists, seeing
feel
it
like-
converge in the end.
You know it's going to be an emotional game, especially when they put so much emphasis in the music. I
Yep.
feel like music
Yeah.
is a tool to catalyst emotions, so it's definitely something that...
We were actually talking about that earlier today, music and video, and not just video games, and art in general, and media.
Good music changes
It
a
changes
game
everything.
from a game being a good game to a memorable game, a game that will stick with you in a long time. So.
Well, and Donut has a pretty storied background
Oh,
when it
that's
comes to
dope.
nerd
No,
games,
that's
whether
pretty
it's
interesting.
Life is Strange, or
Yeah.
like one of my old school favorites, Vampire. Like they try different stuff, weird stuff even sometimes, and so this is exciting to see them doing something
They were
different.
using the super alien music instrument, so...
Yeah. What was it called? Is that
A crystal bachette.
Crystal, but
Oh, you're talking about the hand wedding one?
Yeah.
You're really into this hand.
No,
That's like the only thing
I feel like
try it, honestly.
I would know that for the hand wedding one.
How do
for
you
all the
discover
wrong
that technique of
reasons.
like, oh, that makes that, yes.
That this is an award-winning composer of the Summit of the Gods as well. So what I find super impressive is just, I feel like people sleep on music so much in games, and then you see behind the scenes of this entire, like, they're in a famous church in Paris playing the organ.
Actually has been a blast to see video game music evolve during the years. Like, video games has some great music, like...
It's one of those things, when it's working, you like a lot of time you don't think about it. When music is really good
Oh,
in a
you're
game,
thinking
you
about?
don't really think about it. But then when it's exceptional, like an Expedition or like the Witcher vibes, you know, then you really remember it. But a lot of the games you play, you probably don't look up the soundtrack, even though the game is pretty good, you know?
Ironically, my Spotify rap this year was like mostly video game scores. I think there's often correlation though, whenever a developer does take the music very seriously in a game, it often reflects
I'm sure
in
they're taking other parts
it
out.
reflects in every other, I mean, think about it, all the games that have, like, you think about the games with the best scores ever, like you just said, The Witcher 3 or whatever, I mean, it correlates to everything else, every other aspect of the game, they take it seriously.
True.
Another sci-fi game that is probably one of the most anticipated sci-fi games for a very long time is The Expanse: Osiris Reborn, which is from Owlcat as well. It is a third-person action RPG, obviously set in the Expanse universe.
The Expanse is a book and a show, so they're taking inspiration from both, but at the same time, it doesn't require previous knowledge of either for you to be able to enjoy this. In this
That's
game,
good.
you're going to be living more or less through what happens in the show. However, from a different perspective, from a different side, with your own group of people, with your own environment, that you get to make your own choices.
I think an important thing to frame all of the Expanse game with is that coming from Owlcat, they are a studio that did like Rogue Trader, for example. Their bread and butter is intense, gritty narratives with unbelievable levels of roleplay depth and choice and consequence, complex systems that interweave. And so seeing them go into this, which is of course a third-person cover-based shooter with many, many RPG mechanics. It's a different road. And I asked them about that in our interview and was like, how did this happen? Because typically they do sort of an isometric thing. And they just said when we decided we wanted to tackle the Expanse, it required that cinematic flair, and that's what they tackled. And they're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, the game looks beautiful.
It looks very interesting to me. It looks kind of like Dead Space meets Gears of War,
It's
kind
more
of
like
gameplay-wise.
Mass
It did. Or, yeah, Mass Effect as well.
The choice and the reputation you have with your companions will change, because your companions, they told us, will disagree with some of the stuff you do. They'll get upset or
They will have their
pissed
own
about it.
opinions.
They'll have their own opinions, and they also, one interesting tidbit they mentioned was that when you are making choices in the game, they're not necessarily going to tell you if that was a big moment, if that, what you just said to them is going to seriously affect this thing over here. It will, but that's all behind the scenes.
Third game was Distant Shore, Brittany. This is what went viral as almost a portal with magnets, and I think it looks like a lot of fun.
It's such a unique concept. I could see it being big time.
You know,
Like,
it's
it
one of
really
those
is.
games like you didn't know you wanted, but then you see it, you're like, oh, that looks like it tickles a part of my brain. Yeah.
Like we've seen
very
versions
good.
of it before, but with everything it combines, because it makes everyone think of a different game when you see it. Because we've heard Half-Life, we've heard Portal. I thought of Only Up during some parts of it.
Yeah, I had Only Up.
And other
I thought
puzzle.
Mirror's Edge a little bit with like the parkouring, wall moving stuff.
See, it makes us think of so many different things at once. So I think it's gonna do.
Just
really
watching some of that gameplay, I could see the rage already.
Well. Oh yeah, the boss.
Oh yeah,
not happening.
Well, and I think it's also really cool that they have boss mechanics, because like you can tell it started with the idea of using magnets to like manipulate the environment, but then they're like, okay, well we could raise the stakes, take it up a notch with these boss fights that are organic in the space. And
It also mixes up because it's not just a puzzle game, so there is more to it and more that you.
Yeah, there's a world that he even showed as well.
It's more than just a puzzle game. Like there's a narrative behind it.
Exactly. Like they could have just stopped with the puzzle game. I think a lot of people would have been perfectly happy with that. But then they go and build on that with a story, boss fights, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, if it's not just reach a destination or do a final thing, but it's actually a narrative, like you said, that's really cool.
I think it's one to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Next up, we have two very exciting updates coming from Obsidian, that being some updates for Avowed as well as Grounded 2. We also got exclusive time with them and had some interviews, which were very exciting.
Yo. What do they got here? New fantasy game? Avowed?
Avowed is a Obsidian first-person action RPG set in the world of Pillars of Eternity,
I feel like I heard that
where
before.
the player plays as an envoy sent by the Emperor of Adir to the Living Lands to investigate a mysterious plague that's kind of spreading throughout the lands, causing chaos, and you play as the envoy trying to figure out what's kind of going on down there. Do things that affect it in positive ways, negative ways, or in between type of ways, with that type of choice and consequence. In terms of, the post-launch things we've been supporting on it, like we've gotten a bunch of abilities added to the
so this is
Ranger
already out?
and fighter trees to kind of more fill it out comparatively to the wizard tree. Aspects about it that are like arachnophobia mode, that was like a big community requested feature, as well as, changes to progression, improvements there, gear improvements, and as well as bug fixes and crash fixes.
And you can play now as the different species.
Yeah, we've added different species.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Amauin, Orlins.
I know a lot of
and
people like that
dwarves,
kind of stuff, so.
Are now playable. A lot of our decisions we make are revolving around the player community, so we work, really closely with our community management team. We get like a spreadsheet, kind of see what the things that are bubbling to the top. Like an example, like quarterstaff was something where we wanted to feel like more like a wizard, right? That kind of wizardy vibe, as well as playing as Orlins. Like I think players just were bummed that we didn't include that in the base game. So I mean, it really comes down to like the time and what the community wants, and that's kind of how we decide to go about it. Yeah.
We noticed like players really role play their characters in the game. So we always want to give them as many options as we can to like customize their features or character, you know, to kind of have this fantasy in this world as they journey through the story. We just wanted to give them as many possible options as they can to really make the character they want to make and just make it just their own. Stuff like all the playable races, we discussed it early on and about. It's something to both previous Pillars games had. It's a lot of work and a difficult thing to really nail down, especially in Avowed with its parkour systems and its combat mechanics and all the weapon types and stuff like that in the game. Our different races are different sizes, they're different shapes, they're a very unique game experience when you play as each one of them in a first-person game specifically. So it was something like new to wrangle for Avowed. We had no time to finish it as we're making Avowed, and now we can give it to the players, so it's a more rounded experience compared to the original Pillars games. It should be a whole new way to play the game. If you pick an Orlin or an Amawa, it makes you feel completely different in the world, especially if you use third person or first person. It changes it again, how you feel and present in this game, so it's pretty awesome that we can finally bring that.
New Game Plus allows the player to bring over all their abilities, all their equipable gear. It does reset it back to level 1, so it's not like you're just outright OP basically, but you know, you'll have the end game gear with all its like enchants to be able to just start the new game, as well as we have like modifiers on enemies that kind of, you know, either make them more resistant to some of the elemental types, or, you know, modifiers that make them more resistance to being stun locked or hit reacted. And that kind of gets sprinkled in.
Yo,
kind of
my favorite magic, gun magic.
Game Plus experience to kind of get that added challenge, but also let the players.
There is
still
nothing
feel
better in the world
like they're accumulating their abilities
than going into a magic game.
We notice players
being
like
able
to
to use
take
a gun.
photos of their envoys, but it's very difficult in the game. You have to get the camera just right to get a certain distance from the character, or capture the shot in a conversation when you see your character. So this allows you to really get into it and capture some awesome shots or some scary shots, depending which way you're going.
We're super excited to announce that Avowed's finally going to come out to PS5.
Pre-orders are going to be live today. You know, keep an eye out on our socials, and we'll announce when the store page is open.
Granada 2 is a survival
Didn't
game.
play the first
It
one.
is set in a gigantic
I
city
bet it's
park.
good though.
You play as a teenager who has been shrunken to roughly the size of an ant, and you just have to survive in this environment with, you know, insects that are the size of a bus, and figuring out how to eat and get some water and fight those bugs and craft new materials and new weapons. As you go and gain in power and get over those initial survival challenges, you can sort of get into the story of what has really happened in this park. A number of huge updates planned for the park. This is the first big content update that we have. We've been calling it the winter update. It's really about adding in this next big chunk to the park, and that comes with a lot of things that are very, very exciting for us. With this winter update, which is the community garden, is attached right to that early picnic area. On the map, it's just to the east of it, behind the gigantic statue of Tully and Burgle. This was our opportunity to really start delving into a brand new biome with everything that entailed. You've got a vegetable garden, you've got a greenhouse, and you've got a pumpkin patch. All of these introduce a lot of new and different types of artwork and places for the player to explore. And then, of course, then we need all the insects that go in these areas too. And so a ton of new insects that are in there.
Yo,
as I love to say, all of these insects, you know, you can fight. Maybe they're docile and you can attack them. Many of them are aggressive and will attack you. And regardless, you fight them, learn their tactics, and then eventually turn them into fashionable attire and new weapons.
Going to a new biome, a new area in the park allows us to fully lean into what makes the park unique from the backyard. And for us, that means that mixture of really organic structures as well as that man-made touch, that this was designed by humans at, you know, human level.
Wasps are coming back, which are a lot of fun to fight, but can be kind of annoying Again, this is a survival game, so so excited about
I don't
this
like the way they
coming back.
move.
Black
They
Ants
seem
are
too
also coming
twitchy.
back too.
That
And,
just
like,
seems
with both
annoying
of
to
those,
fight.
You get sets of armor and different weapons that you can craft after you've defeated these creatures. We're more excited about the new creatures that are coming in the garden update, though. So we developed a brand new creature in the cricket. The cricket is pretty big. Again, this is the size of a large bus, probably. It has some very unique attack combinations that are a lot of fun. It can also, of course, jump very, very far.
I feel like the lack of knockback
It
on the
has its own
characters is
armor
kind of
sets.
annoying.
It has its
I feel like
own,
you should have been knocked back
weapon
there
or
as a
weapons
character.
that you can craft.
Like if you
based
get hit
upon
with
it.
like
And
a
then the same
hit
thing
kick
for,
like that.
earwig. We actually have 2 different types of earwig. There's sort of a ranged earwig and a melee earwig that tend
That's
to travel
awful.
around together.
That's evil to put in a game, bro.
Strategic opportunities. Again, you can turn those into armor. Of course, turn them into your
The armor
your
thing's
base
really cool.
furnishings. You can turn them into weapons, and we think they'll offer some exciting and unique combat opportunities.
We really want Grounded 1 players to be excited to see these creatures again, but also to be surprised and delighted by the changes. You know, just like we did in the picnic area, we've revamped the combat. So that means
I feel like they
looking at
should
the
have
old
like
legacy
played
creatures
all
and
of
going,
the.
okay, how do we make them a part of the system? How do we make them challenging in this new dance? How can we leverage our systems to make them more interesting? And so hopefully there's a couple of twists coming, even with the old favorites, that will keep veteran players on their toes and will surprise and delight new players.
We have a brand new buggy, the Ladybug buggy, which you'll be able to get and raise and hatch, and then ride around in the yard. And we're pretty excited about all that stuff. Like, I think all of it is coming together just really well.
I think every single Grounded player from Grounded 1 at some point jumped on the Ladybug and let it transport them around. And we often joke that that was the original buggy prototype. And there's something so iconic about the Ladybug and getting on it and wanting to ride it that it felt like an inevitability for us. But what's important for us whenever we do introduce a new buggy is we don't want it to just be another one or just a horse, you know? And so it really boiled down to what can the Ladybuggy bring to the table that the other ones weren't? What can make her stand apart and bring a utility and an experience to the player that the other buggies aren't?
I might have to try the
How can we
first
carve
game
out her own
at
little
some point.
niche in the game? She's the tank. She's, you know, the one who can get into those really tough fights and withstand those
Also, my
large
back is itchy.
swarms of insects. And that's where the idea of the water cannon on her back and you know, players being able to shoot at their enemies, and that
Water
ended up
cannon.
you know, providing a ton of gameplay opportunities and a really unique
What's the free game on
experience,
Steam?
being able to shoot down
Epic right now.
the aerial insects that are often a bit more challenging and a bit more frustrating for players. Well, now you have this, you know, ranged weapon that you can take them down with that feels super satisfying, almost like an anti-air gun. For us, as soon as we crack that, it felt like, okay, there she is, that's her niche, and now it's just about bringing that experience to life and finding moments in the garden experience to really highlight that and let that shine for the player.
So we saw Avowed, great interview that you did over there. We see now that we have New Game Plus coming, there's a photo mode, new weapon type, changing appearance. There's new character presets, you got new races, which
Species,
I'm sure, Lua will have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, they're doing a lot, and I mean the game, of course, launched earlier this year. Obsidian's been very busy, yeah, and they're doing these free updates now, and so they also are adding New Game Plus, which adds a whole new reason for you to go back through the game. So the game is coming to PS5.
Yay! We got another one.
We got
the Avowed Platinum Trophy was insane.
Here we go.
Yeah, yeah, but it's coming, and it's available for pre-order as of this
Right
show
now?
going live. So right now, so check it out. And when I talked to them, they were saying how important the community is to them, how they've listened to a lot of their feedback, like adding arachnophobia mode on Grounded.
I was gonna say, Luke, if I'm scared of spiders, what do I do?
Yeah, there's arachnophobia mode. But they that's kind of their driving force, is looking at the community, what the community is saying, communicating. Like,
Bro,
hey,
I
we'd
could
like more
I could not
species,
do an
more
arachnophobia mode. I
customization
would add more
options in
spiders.
Character builder.
Everything
Okay,
would turn
we'll do
into a
that, and
spider.
it's just really nice to see them
I'm evil.
do that. They could put it in a paid package, but they're not. They're just, it's a labor of love, and that's.
I really like how, as you're going to New Game Plus, you can also change your character's appearance. So you keep some of your skills and stuff, but if you are tired of how your character looks or you want to do something new, try a different race, you can do that by just going to New Game Plus. You don't need to go back to the beginning.
Besides that, we also had Grounded 2, which is bringing the Garden of Brook Hollow Park that is now going to be open. So it's a new biome. They have new creatures, new tools, a new mushroom brick material that you can build more stuff with, and also a new ladybug buggy.
A lady buggy.
So sweet.
For those of you watching, it's a play on word.
Allow me to explain.
Ladybug because you can mount it and
Yeah, man,
ride
we
it
get
like
it.
a buggy.
Yeah, and speaking to listening community, they also take a lot of feedback. This is a game that launched back into early access back in July, and so this is a major winter update is what they're calling it, and it was heavily requested to have more types of transport, which they are still planning more for the future that people can be excited about, but they always listen to feedback about, should an insect be an enemy? Should an insect be what they call, is it docile or docile? I'm from Iowa.
Whatever you
Tomato,
prefer.
tomato.
Yeah. Different insects can be friendly, some can be enemies, and then of course they can also treat them now as transport as well.
You looked at Luke when you asked.
Well, yeah, I'm not looking at you. And so with this update, they're doing this throughout a lot of their timeline. Like they're gonna give you a lot of these big updates, and you're gonna be kind of surprised of like when it first released early access, there was still plenty to do. It was a survival game, but if you were a fan of Grounded, the original, you knew they were still gonna have a great winter update for you like this. And so they have a lot on their roadmap, but because of the way the game is oddly like scaled down, it's from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like the way it's shrunk down, they have so much they still want to do and will be doing for a long, long time.
Well, and that cricket.
Yeah, the cricket thing looks
that thing's
terrifying.
horrifying. It turns around and like.
You're like, wait, what's he doing? What's he doing?
Spreading. I gotta give them credit. Like Obsidian's been so crazy busy. Like the fact that you can put out 2 pretty sizable games in 1 year. And a bunch of updates for it.
And it seems like they were cooking something huge, right? Because
yeah, they just had Tim Kaine come back out of retirement. He's one of the creators of Fallout back in the day, and he
didn't he also was some of the original creators of Vampire Bloodlines?
I think he did.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
He's kind of a legend of the industry. He in 2020 went and started doing consulting work with Obsidian, but he was, in his words, semi-retired. But he's actually gone back to Obsidian to work full-time in office, moved to the studio on some project that's unannounced, and he said, "Don't bother guessing. You will not guess it." So, new IP, something crazy. Who knows? But they are.
Or
busy.
he's trying to throw us off.
It's hard to not see like hope, at least for Fallout stuff, because the TV show being excellent and everyone itching for more Fallout. So
True. All right, what's next?
Next up, we have 3 fantasy RPG games that are looking very cool, as I would say. This is going to be Outward 2 from Nidot Studio, a follow-up to their other survival game, Outward, obviously. We have Varen's Call by Titan Rock, and then we also have Dragon Twin by Draconic Interactive.
I need to feed my dog soon, so might be
Outward is an open world RPG, which for once you're not some kind of special superhero or the last child from a prophecy. You're just a dude or a dudette. And the reason why we are downscaling who the player is because they want to be immersed more than they want to be powerful. And that was the big change in our approach. And we made all of our design decisions to be in alignment with this vision. If you were just a regular person and you wanted to think like a human would, but in a fantasy world, it's when you are aloof, when you're just like, that's not so dangerous, I've done it before, and that's when life just snaps back at you, right? In real life, that's like that. It should be like that in the design as well. So one gigantic thing is the character creation. In Outward 1, like, we had very ugly protagonists, and we didn't have a lot of options. You had like 3 skin colors, a handful of faces, a handful of haircuts, and that was it. It feels like really drawing yourself into an RPG. You choose a background, you choose traits, you have a very granular system to modify and customize a character to your liking. One of the big thing is you choose one of 3 starting locations. So as a regular person, what justifies throwing yourself into danger? How do you become an adventurer? Well, we have 3 different quests depending on which city you choose. So if you are in Simeon's Bastion, you are a homeless person. You're desperate. In Tramontaine, you are a miner and you're trying to like improve your status and your quality of life. In Haboob, you are just a clerk who just bought a house. What could possibly go wrong? You know, and very mundane situations, like you're not special or anything, but something special happens to you, and then you have to live up to the situation. We want a weather system that is very dynamic. So now we have a year-long calendar with seasons, and you just go through all that. So it's gonna be winter, and then it's spring, and then summer, and does
This
change.
sounds fun.
Like what kind of stuff can be found, what kind of armor you need to wear. Dual wielding is gigantic. So now you can combine anything that goes in one hand, and that opens up a lot of possibilities. In Outward 1, like you had your offhand could only have a set amount of things, and you had your main hand. Now you can just interchange. You can have 2 shields if you want. It sucks. I don't recommend, but you can. Of course, like just visually, and the fact that it's much more lush, it's more filled, it's more visually vibrant. That's going to be something that people will notice very quickly. Just like in Outward 1, we have 8 skill trees, and all those skill trees have some exclusive skills. So if you take one, you can't take the other, and you have a maximum of 3 breakthrough points. So there's only 3 skill trees that you can learn from to the maximum of the capabilities. Otherwise, when you have like the first few layers of skills available. One thing we added are the attribute points, the core stats. So strength, agility, constitution, willpower, intelligence. We added those. We're gonna track a lot of different things that you do. They're all gonna have like different thresholds. So let's say you dodge attacks successfully a certain number of times, you unlock a note that will give you a passive trait and increase your agility. So very small incremental changes. We start with very simple things, and it expands us in more and more circles. So you won't be able from the very start to unlock all 3 skill trees just because you have the cash to do it. You will have to have experience. You will need to have practiced the life of danger in Ori to be able to understand, like get to the next level of the skill trees. Other than that, well, I think it's important to note that all 4 regions are new regions. So it's really just completely new environment to explore.
I'd have to try that first game on it.
Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into our upcoming action RPG, Varen's Call. The world of Leda is entirely shrouded by darkness on one side, while scorched by endless sun on the other.
Okay.
These incredibly hostile areas are known as the Forsaken Realms.
This looks pretty.
Which, as you may have noticed, is the name of the universe we are meticulously crafting. Your first steps within the Forsaken Realms will take you to the Vale of Varen, a city on the brink of collapse, and the first of our narrative-focused adventures. You'll step into the boots of a lone mercenary, seeking to answer Varen's call for aid, and maybe earn some gold and glory along the way. It's clear that Varen needs a hero, and every hero needs a way to slay the countless fantastical beasts they'll encounter. Varen's Call aims to cater to a wide range of playstyles, offering you the freedom to combat the unknown in a variety of ways. Whether you prefer to be a nimble-footed archer, flinging fireballs between arrows, or face your foes toe-to-toe as an axe-wielding whirlwind of death, the choice is yours. The game's classless system means you're never locked into playing a specific way. You have the ability to adapt, alter, or completely switch playstyles midway through your adventure. Unlock and spend perk points to obtain new skills and abilities, and level up your mercenary's core stats by gaining character experience. Hidden chests throughout the world will reward you with a range of weapons, armor, and unique trinkets, some providing unique effects to help you gain an edge in your next combat encounter. The local hamlet of South Vale acts as a hub, a safe space that provides various amenities for you to further develop your character. Use the forge to upgrade the weapons and armor you find throughout the world, and the dismantling bench to deconstruct items for materials. The spell crafting table can be used to increase the power of your magic. Everything from an area of effect freeze attack that stops the enemy in their tracks, to ripping up the ground from underneath their feet with destructive force. Use the trap making bench to upgrade and unlock new traps and gadgets. A nice complement to your arsenal, allowing you the opportunity to catch your enemies off guard. And finally, the alchemy cauldron. this can be used to custom brew a multitude of mixtures. From replenishing health and restoring stamina, to curing yourself of nasty status effects, these concoctions are
Called
sure
a
to aid you on
lemonade,
the journey.
bro.
Okay, great. So you've equipped that shiny new helmet, purchased that slightly overpriced magic spell you always had your eyes on, and upgraded that new polybuster barrel to the volatile variant that has even more boom. You're ready to get back into the fight, but maybe you want a change of pace.
I think we're gonna end this
Yes,
when
you're
it's the
supposed to be
next
the hero
yapping
and save
segment,
the
because,
city,
like,
but
I don't know how many more of
heroes
those
need
I can
breaks
do.
too. Besides, there's
Plus, I got other
a
stuff to
whole
do,
world
so.
to explore, and quirky characters from all walks of life need your help with their problems.
Then you've come about the job.
You might find yourself involved in a murder mystery, helping a local peacekeeper catch the criminal behind the death of her beloved friend. Or maybe you're on a mission to rid Varin of the Gnomi scourge that plagues the city, all because a crazy guy in an outhouse called you a hero?
I know the truth!
Maybe we should stick to the main task at hand after all.
I might have to do it quicker.
Varen's Call is soon to release on PC with full controller support, with the aim of releasing on consoles at a later date. Our game is inspired by classics like Fable and The Elder Scrolls, so if this sounds like your kind of adventure, consider heading over to Steam
Yo,
and
he's fighting
adding it to your
Shrek.
wishlist to stay up to date with us. Until then, we'll see you mercenaries soon.
That does look pretty cool. Forsaken Realms. Okay. Yo, dragon fights. That looks pretty sick. Yo, they say, come check out the Patreon, bro. Doesn't look bad, though. I mean, it kind of looks like Skyrim, but I'm sure that was kind of partially the point. Dragon Creator? That's actually kind of sick, too. And you can pose them. That looks like a lot of work. Looks pretty sick, though.
First question I had was, how hard is this game going to be? Because the most common question about the original Outward was, okay, this is like.
All right, I'm just gonna cut the stream. I gotta cut it short. I can't do this like for another 2 hours. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed. I'll have to I don't know, talk about it on Discord or something. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day.